The story of C. Anthony Muse began on Park Heights Avenue in Baltimore City. It was here that young Anthony would learn that to go anywhere in life would take courage, determination, and a resilient spirit. He was one of 8 children, and by the time he was 11, his family had broken up, and young Anthony found himself homeless.
My grandmother couldn't take me in, so I ended up in the foster care system. It was just a one home after another after another.
Over the course of several years, Anthony wandered. He wound up living in 11 different foster homes. He was kicked out of 3 school systems.
So it was a very tough, rough time.
Anthony eventually found his way to the home of a Methodist preacher. Reverend George Stansbury and his wife Evelyn had 7 children of their own, but decided to adopt Anthony and make him one of their own.
When I say adopted, I mean he took me into his home and decided that if I agreed with it, that would be the last home, that would be the last family.
With the Stansbury family, Anthony found stability and direction. He went back to school and graduated from Southwestern High in West Baltimore. From there, his hunger for learning began to grow, and so did his concern for other people who were struggling. Anthony wanted to help them and felt his own education was key. At the age of 19, Anthony enrolled at Morgan State University and took a job as a part-time pastor. He quickly became an advocate and voice for his members inside and outside of his church.
The needs of people are not so much in the church, they're outside of the church. Once they leave the church and they go home, they're dealing with children who are having problems getting through the school system, dealing with children whose grades are low. They're dealing with seniors who are concerned about Social Security.
And a host of other problems. In 1984, Anthony earned a master's degree from Wesley Theological Seminary, and in 1991, a doctorate in community development from Howard University. Then, members of his Prince George's County community asked him to run for elected office, to become their official advocate. And he vowed to do more than just occupy a seat.
I would be their voice. I would echo what they've said. They want to know that their concerns, their hurts are being heard in the places of power, in the places that can make a difference in their lives.
In 1994, C. Anthony Muse was elected to the Maryland House of Delegates. He fought for better schools, fair wages, and labor practices. In 2006, he was elected to the Maryland Senate, representing the state's 26th legislative district. He served on the Judicial Proceedings Committee and as chair of the Prince George's delegation. In 2010, with a resounding 80% of the vote, Muse was re-elected to the Senate. But Muse believes the people he represents need more, deserve more.
People are struggling. People are hurting. People are wondering how they're going to make it. I'm dealing with people who for many years have had their own homes, they've had their own jobs, but in the last 6 years, they've lost homes, they've lost wealth. When I look at the graduation rate, when I look at 70% of our kids not graduating in Baltimore City, 50% in Prince George's County, I look at the jobless rate, 16% among African American adults, 47.5% among African American youth. The next generation matters. And if we do not invest in them, then we have no workforce. If we do not invest in them, America is weaker. If we do not invest in them, then we do not have the great country that we all talk about. I'm talking about reclaiming America's dream. America's dream for our seniors, America's dream for our veterans. I'm running for the United States Senate because I believe that we must address the needs of people, real needs, relevant needs. They want to know that we're not going to spend all of our time in wars overseas and not be concerned with focusing on America.
And when C. Anthony Muse considers his own life, his own humble beginnings on Park Heights Avenue, he's convinced that through hard work and teamwork, America's promise, her dream, lives.
There are 2 words that matter to me, hope and promise. If you work hard and do the things that you know you're supposed to do, then there are certain promises. We call it the American dream. Those promises everyone is supposed to be able to attain.
C. Anthony Muse has been a voice for the people. He's a senator who connects with people, a leader who cares about the people who are counting on him. In Annapolis, C. Anthony Muse has been a strong, effective senator for the citizens of Maryland. Now, let's send him to Capitol Hill, where he'll be a strong, effective voice for the citizens of Maryland in the U.S. Senate. C. Anthony Muse, the people's U.S. Senator.